Hello babies, it's Rain Check, also known as Nisa, and today we're going to talk about something that is a little sensitive to some, but now that it's cuffing season, officially it's getting cold, icy snow, we need to talk about something that I feel is super important that, I don't know, a lot of people don't spend enough time just like sitting down and thinking about before they act on it. It being falling in love. I want to talk about falling in love. And I don't really want to say mistakes people make because that's such a bad connotation around love, but just things that people have to learn from later that could be prevented if you watch this video. So before you do that, I'm going to need you to do a couple things. One, like this video. Two, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. That's two. And it's the little button right down somewhere. Red. Should be red. Yeah, it should be gray if you're already subscribed. And comment how, what's your relationship status at the beginning of cuffing season. Make some connection in the comments, period. But yeah, so today I'm going to talk about things you need to consider before falling in love, things you can learn from falling in love, and just different ways we can all, grow together around the concept of love. Tip number one. So I'm 20, right? And so I'll just group, Gen Z. I'm not gonna say millennials. Hopefully, by the time you're like 27 plus, you've learned some of these things. But, specifically Gen Z up to the age of like 24. There's some things I'm seeing that we need to learn. First being that we move way too fast sometimes when it comes to falling in love. A lot of this falling in love process that we see in this generation is very, performative. It's, oh my god, I have a new boo, post on Insta, and it's for the sake of what we want it to look like and what we idealize and glorify in our head about what love looks like rather than what it actually is and what it feels like. Something that I see a lot of us doing is we love bomb. The minute we meet someone who meets all of our standards, checks all the boxes of what we've idealized could be someone we can love, we immediately be like, oh my god, my husband, I love them, oh my god, living happily ever after, and we don't even know the fuck this person is. If you're really gonna think about it, you know what I'm saying? Usually when we meet a person that, fits into these standards, we want to hang out with them all the time, we want to, make sure we snatch them up really quick before someone else takes them, but really, we need to spend more time learning about what we want out of love, for one, and two, seeing if this person actually checks those boxes, you know what I'm saying? So like a lot of us will be like 6 foot plus, brown eyes, dark skin, we have our little categories, but what values would actually sustain love in a relationship? We can't love them. We have to give ourselves time to process like who the person is. You have to experience life with someone in order to love them. I need to see, what do you like in a stressful situation? What do you like when you're joyful? What are you like when I'm succeeding? Are you supportive of me? Are you respectful of me and my accomplishments? Do you cater to my love language? These are things that have nothing to do with those like idealizations that you see on the internet. Like the internet does not go that deep. In addition to that, it's also really important for you to just understand what love means in general to you. Is it something that's super surface level? And honestly, I'm not here to judge or be the god of, defining love, but I think on a minimal scale, that definition should at least be parallel. I'm not gonna say parallel, should be, what's the word? In sync. It should be in sync with the definition of your partner or partner to be, or someone you're considering loving, right? And you gotta make sure, like, hey, like, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? Because that's how it gets awkward when someone says, I love you first, and the other person's like, I don't really feel that. Like, and it gets real awkward, because you're like, oh, so he hates me, and that may not be what it is. Maybe this person regards love in another way, or they're looking for something else to be met before they can determine that. And if you're not clear, then when you're going to take it offensively, and that's symbolic of bad communication and emotional immaturity, and those are not things we want in love, right? So something to think about. overall, we just gotta be patient with our, emotional journeys with people, interpersonally, like, and with yourself, honestly. Like, I don't think this video should only apply to loving someone else. It could also talk about loving yourself and self-love. Like, it takes a process. Self-love isn't just like, okay, claim, I love it, I love me, and then your actions aren't following through with that. Like, that takes work, that takes, like, conscious thought and effort into what does it look like to love yourself, understanding your love language. Ooh, I did not even get into love languages. Understanding how you best show love, how you give it, and how you receive it as well. Like, you have to know that for yourself, so that way you can give those things and receive those things from yourself. And you also have to know for, like, a partner, like, okay, what will it look like when you are trying to show me that you love me? Maybe it's not something as, like, communicative. Maybe they're not words of affirmation where they're gonna say, I love you. That's something they say all the time. Maybe it's through acts of service, or, and if you haven't taken the 5 love languages test, because you might be confused what I'm talking about, I'll put the link in my description. Check it out. Learn about yourself, auntie. Learn about yourself, all right? But yeah, that's also really important when falling in love. Like, if you don't even know how that person receives love best, how are they even going to tell? How are you going to tell? How are you going to give love? And what if, you notice that you're not even doing those things because you really don't genuinely care about that person in that way? Like, to even recognize it in yourself. I'm ranting, but check out the quiz and think about these things. So overall, just take it slow, be patient, and you can still be in control and be assertive about what you want, but you need to give yourself time to process, like, okay, now that I've had all these good things with this person and these good times and experiences, like, let me take a step back, take some space from them, and think, big picture, outer body, like, how am I feeling before you claim such an extreme emotion. Okay, that's forever for me to describe that one tip, so I'm moving on to number 2, which is love does not equal compromise. Ooh. This is a big one, because a lot of times people equate the act of falling in love with automatically, like, I'm losing something for myself. And that's not always a bad thing for people. They just automatically assume, like, oh yeah, like, if I'm having children, that means I must lose my passions. And if I'm dedicating myself and loving myself to my children, if I have a husband, that means there's parts of me I have to sacrifice and I have to live for him. And as much as I'd like to think that's a very primitive idea, I think it's still very present in the modern world, from what we see on social media, from what we see in other cultures. Like, mind you, like, we can't center American and Christian and Anglo-Saxon, like, culture as the end all be all of, loving. Like, there's so many different ways to love in all types of cultures and traditions, and a lot of it comes with, or is associated with rather, sacrifice. A big thing you need to consider before falling in love is your own self-love. What does that look like? And not only what does it look like, but are you prioritizing it? When thinking about loving another person, you need to think, does this act of love require me to lessen my own love for myself or lessen my respect for myself? And if those are the requirements, you need to consider, am I putting those pressures on myself? Is my partner putting those pressures on me if I'm deciding to love them? And if that's the case, then you shouldn't. Well, girl, I'm gonna burn some sage because I feel it getting tense in here. Gotta have some, clean energy because it's getting hot. All right, I'm gonna leave the sage burning to the side while I talk, just to, keep the good vibes. To continue on with my point, you have to understand that love is not just a feeling. It's not just an infatuation. It's a responsibility. When you're deciding to give someone that part of yourself, you are also deciding to give yourself this new responsibility to this new person. And you need to really evaluate, one, is this person worth that part of me? And 2, am I even in a position to give that part of myself? Like, are you ready? Before falling in love, there has to be certain boundaries you set with yourself, or things you're not willing to compromise just for the sake of loving someone else. And people change, love changes, what it requires to love Too much sage, okay, come on. The house is not burning, great. Yeah, you just need to set your boundaries, right, that's where I was. Setting your boundaries on what you're willing to give to be in love, what you're willing, what you need to receive, you know, from someone else's love in a way that's healthy for you. Like you have to do the work of setting those boundaries and clarifying those expectations for yourself and for whoever you're, you know, exchanging this love with in order for it to be healthy. And if you're gonna fall in love, you want to be, you know, we're not doing toxic shit, you know, it's 2020. Like, I mean, 2020 in general is pretty toxic, but that's her business, not my business. You know what I'm saying? My business is to manifest healthy love and healthy energy and positive vibes, good auras in my life. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you gotta consider. I think the last thing that I think everyone should consider before falling in love is something that I've actually had to learn from personal experience of my first relationship. Well, it wasn't my first relationship, but my first, I guess, serious relationship where I was in love, or I thought I was, you know what I'm saying? I thought I fell in love, and I thought that I was ready to give that responsibility to someone. But what I needed to work on was my self-love. I understood what self-love meant. I understood the importance of it. But my issue was I didn't really know how to apply it. But I was working on it. You know, I was working on it. I was aware of these things. A big problem that I think will always shine through. Well, I don't want to say shine, that's positive, but, you know, always bleed through or expose itself when you're loving someone is if you're loving someone who doesn't love themselves / doesn't know what they want out of love, like they don't have those boundaries that we talked about, those clear expectations, it is very, very difficult and tragic to love them. You know, with my partner, I tried to love him in the ways that I thought it was, you know, healthy to show it, and I was trying to learn through what, you know, he expressed wanting out of love, but I don't really think he was clear on that. You know, every month they're like, oh, I love you not, and he just didn't know. I wasn't clear on what I needed from that, because if I was clear on it, I wouldn't have stayed in the relationship as long, knowing this person was not capable of loving me in general, and to loving me in the way I needed to be, in a way that degraded my self-respect. Like, I wasn't aware, he wasn't aware, and it was a tragic story, really. I mean, the relationship wasn't tragic overall, but just like the way it ended was because of that, because we weren't clear on what we needed from ourselves and from each other. And if you're not clear on that, a couple things can happen. You might end up being gaslit when you're trying to love a person, and then they're telling you like, oh, you don't love me, or like, because they don't even know, they can't even tell what it looks like to be loved, because they don't know that within themselves if they don't love themselves. Second thing that can happen is that in general, they just aren't capable of loving you back, and really that hurts, especially when you're pouring love into someone, because you just see the potential. That's another thing. I mean, that's not in this video, but just, you know, pro tip, don't invest in potential, invest in purpose. I forgot who said it. I forgot who said it. Wasn't me, I'm not gonna take credit for that, but that is the truth. But outside of the point, and back to the point, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, they don't actually love you back. And pouring love, it's like giving, you need to already be coming from a place of abundance, you know, and your partner needs to be coming from a place of abundance. You can't be each other's 50%, like y'all both need to be 100, and you come together and you manifest more, not like, I need you and I'm giving you everything and I'm expecting you back, and when they don't give you back, now that's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be in that position. So just make sure, I mean, not that people who don't love themselves don't deserve love, but it's something that you just have to be precious. You have to be cautious about your own energy and realize how precious it is, I think is what I'm trying to say. And just know what's worth that responsibility from you. And if it's your child who's not in a place where they love themselves yet, yeah, I'm gonna love you, I'm not gonna not love you, you know what I'm saying? That's my baby. But like, if it's, you know, a little cute boy from around the corner, like, are we on the same page? Like, because if you're at a place where you love yourself, I would hope you're not going to be deeply attracted to someone who isn't on your energy, on your level. If they don't love themselves, if they're not seeking better for themselves, like, that's, how do you say, toxic? So yeah, do better, want better, be better, aspire toward better, all of that. Yeah, but I'm trying to make this quick. I feel like this video is long, and I'm trying to be more concise. It's hard, it's difficult, but yeah, hope you're enjoying this slay. I'm sure you guys can tell what my favorite color is by now, but yeah, enjoy your winter, enjoy your cuffing season. If you're cuffed, you know, still be conscious of your energy, preserve it, but even if you're single, I'm single gang, you know, like, we are going to work on loving ourselves and being open to new opportunities of love, but being conscious on how we engage with those opportunities. So yeah, like, comment, yeah, comment, I don't know if I said this earlier, but comment your, you know, cuffing season status, you know, like, network in the comments. I think I said that. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, be abundant and joyful, and I said subscribe. I think I said subscribe because I'm going to be posting more videos. But yeah, check out my old videos, all that. Okay, I'm talking too much. Bye.